An online warrior in Guilty Gear Strive, who has been dominating online tournaments for the past couple of years, has been plagued with only being able to play in online events. He has been the #1 Kai player for most of the past year, and even crazier, he got 2 separate accounts to take #1 and 2 spots on the leaderboard. This is Danny.
Charge stun edge, able to find its mark kind of unexpectedly. Gonna get that full confirm off of the dust into dust. Puts you right back into the corner.
Coming out, we got the far slash spam in chat. Let's go. I love that copy pasta RTL to boot as well. Catching unbiased here.
Danny has entered in over 365 Guilty Gear Strive tournaments. Oh wow, he's entered a lot more tournaments since I started this video. But it's basically the equivalent of entering a tournament every day for a whole year. But more interesting is the placements behind all of these tournaments. Out of the 365 he's entered, in 318 of them, he placed in top 8. This number becomes even better if you consider the tournaments he dropped out of, which was 20, so now it's 318 out of 345 tournaments he placed in top 8, which means he gets in top 8 92% of the time. But how many times has he gotten first? 25, 50, 100? Getting first place 100 times sounds insane, but Danny has gotten first in 182 of these tournaments. Half the time he enters a tournament, he gets first place. But the tragic thing about all of this is that most of these placements are online. He has beaten pretty much anyone he has gone up against, but as we know, online doesn't always have the best connection and there can be lag that can ruin a match. However, recently he got the opportunity to fight against some of the top players offline. We get to see what Danny can do against the best of the best in person. This tournament was hosted by Lord Knight, a well-known YouTuber who covers a lot of fighting game topics. The really cool thing about this tournament is that it was an invitational for top players to come together, hang out, sip on a bevy, and have every match be a top level match. More importantly, this tournament would be based in Mexico, which means Danny, who lives in Mexico, could attend this event. There were 10 players invited to this tournament, 5 of which made it to Arc System Works World Tour Finals, a tournament that would only feature players who have won in major tournaments throughout the year. Nubenheimer, who got second at EVO, the biggest fighting game tournament of the year. Apology Man, who got second at Arc World Tour Last Chance Qualifier. Peppery Splash, who got first at Battle Coliseum. Umisho, who got first at Frosty Faustings and placed 6th in Arc World Tour. And of course, TempestNYC, who got first place in both CEO Taku and Fighter Spirit and came in 3rd at Arc World Tour. Now that we know what kind of competition we got going on, let's go to how this tournament actually works. The first part of the tournament will be 2 groups of 5 in a round robin. The lowest scoring player of each group will drop out, which will form a top 8 bracket with the rest of the players. Alright, let's just jump right into it after I probably explained way too much. But Danny's first match would be against Hotashi. He's the 6th best Bridget player in the world, as well as 8th best Nago player. The last set I could find that these players played together in was back in 2022, and Danny had won 3-0. But a lot has changed since then. First match starts and Nago has the best round start in the game. Hotashi Beyblades in and a throw clash happens. A throw clash basically means when both players are trying to grab each other, but there's a small 10-frame window for the person to try to react to the grab. However, there's a small exception to this, and that is command grabs. Command grabs can't be broken, so Nago could have used this bite instead and beat Kai's throw. Danny tosses out a fireball, but Hotashi would Cheeto chop his face and take a big nibble out of his neck, which is the command grab I was just talking about. Unfortunately, Danny forgot how to hold back and gets hit. Then does a wake up DP. So I'm going to probably say this 100 times, so it's good for you to know what the hell a DP is. DP stands for double Nah, just kidding, it's Dragon Punch, which is an invincible move on Wake Up, meaning you can't get hit during the initial start of it. However, you are not safe from grabs, so you could just constantly punish this option. But obviously, you won't keep doing this if you get grabbed, or else you would be an idiot or stupid or dumb or all three combined. I'm not making fun of you, but I am. It's also good to note that if you hit a blocked opponent, you can Roman cancel, aka RC, making it safe. But if you whiff, well, your life is pretty much over, bucko. Danny doesn't have enough tension to RC, so he will get punished, and Hotashi calls out this burst, so he gets double punished, but doesn't break him through the wall, but kills him anyway. Round 2 starts and Nago wins yet again. From this, he gets a wall break and takes half his health. Nago giving him the hurts donut. Hotashi goes in with White Wild Assault. I talked about it in my other videos, so this is just a brief explanation of what White Wild Assault is. White Wild Assault is what Nago just used, and it gives you invulnerability for most of the duration of the attack. On top of that, it also guard breaks the opponent, allowing you to close the gap safely. However, it takes up half your burst meter, which is usually used to get you out of combos, so you kind of have to pick and choose what's more important at the time. I'll talk about Kai's version when he uses it. Hotashi teleports up, tries to bite but misses, and then tries to Roman cancel it to correct his mistake. A Roman cancel is when you see the game stop time briefly and the character shoots out a burst of color. You can do these pretty much any time with some exceptions, but they're either going to extend combos or be used defensively. Blue and red are mostly used on offense, and yellow is defense and allows you to take your turn back. Purple Roman cancel could be used for both, but in this case he tried to go for aggression and it didn't pay off for him. Danny goes back on the offense, puts Nagos into shock state, but gets caught backdashing and is back in the corner. Hotashi lands a hit, then Roman cancels to bait the burst and finishes the round with a super. So I did lie a little bit. Red Roman cancel can be used to bait out a burst if they think the opponent will try to escape the combo using their full burst meter. Game 2, Danny does the right thing and backs off and shoots a fireball, but then gets guard crushed 3 times in a row. Hotashi's probably scared of the DP. Danny then goes on the offense and extends his combo with an orange wild assault. So Kai has an orange wild assault, and the difference between white and orange is that orange is generally used for combo extensions, since you can cancel the attack into any normal or special move, making it so you can carry a person from one side of the stage to another a lot easier. Though most people are saying nowadays that White Wild Assault is broken, as in it's too powerful because of how safe it is to close the gap on a character and steal your turn back to go on the offense. But I think they should still keep it on pot and get rid of it on everyone else. But that's just me. And probably all the pot players. Danny gets Nago into the shock state and sets up a meaty Fudra arc. Shock state? Nah, I'm just kidding. I'll talk about it later. Danny does the standard combo to put him back into the shock state and does the unsafe Scum Dipper and then does it again, but gets punished this time. So this is interesting because Danny's using Scum Dipper, or some people might know it as Stun Dipper, and it's an unsafe move, leaving you vulnerable even if the person has shock state on. But as you could see, Hotashi didn't go for the big punish. That's because Danny is using his tension meter as a threat to cancel out of Stun Dipper, making it so if the person tried to hit a button, he would get punished. And since I just mentioned it, shock state is when that character has that yellow electricity coming off them, which if Kai lands a special move during that state, it gives them different properties. But usually it makes the attack safer to use. For example, if he uses Fudra Arc when the opponent isn't in shock state and tries to hit a button after, then he can get punished for it. But if they are in the shock state, he is safe. Hotashi is gonna bring him all the way to the corner. Danny tries to escape, gets grabbed, and Hotashi puts him on the pain train for a little bit. Then wakes up, rides the lightning. This won't kill, but he cancels it, thinking he could finish him off.
Oh, my aching heart!
In this next round, it will feature a lot of fireballs.
Nice, okay.
Into Fudra Arc, and that's the end of the round. Round 3 starts, Hotashi hits him with a Beyblade in a combo, Danny bursts out, then after a lot of blocking, Hotashi does a blue Roman cancel command grab mix. Danny tosses out a Scum Dipper RC into big giant kick. Now this attack looks like you can punish it, but I assure you it's not safe to hit a button. If you try mashing your fast attack, Kai will win, unless he's doing a slow startup move like this one. And here you can see Kai jumping before Nago for reference. Hotashi bursts out of the combo, Danny tosses a couple fireballs, and Nago pops his blood gauge, and that's pretty much an instant lose for Nago. In the bottom left corner, you can see 2 meters, one of them being Nago's blood gauge. Basically, they had to put a cap on how much you can use as special moves, since they are really good, and the way they did this was by making it so whenever you use a special, this meter goes up. Now, it does have some benefits and some negatives. The higher the blood gauge, you have more damage you take. As you can see by the nice little graphic, you take 10% more damage in blood gauge level 2, and then you take 25% more damage in blood gauge level 3. There's a time where this didn't exist, and thank God we're not in that timeline anymore. However, the range of your attacks are longer, and they also do more damage. Now, if it fills up all the way, then you can just consider this round to be over, because then you go into Blood Rage, which slowly reduces 50% of your maximum health. You can't die alone from this, but if your opponent lands a combo, you're pretty much dead. You lose access to all of your special moves. The only positive is that your slashes and heavy moves do more damage, and you have a new special that deals a lot of damage. But most likely no one will get hit from it, and it leaves you insanely vulnerable even if you use it from full screen. So you never want to be in this state as Nago. And Danny takes game 2. Game 3 starts, Hotashi gets hit by a fireball, then welcome to Block City until Danny tosses out a DP and he bursts immediately, but then shortly after does it again. Lives to tell the tale of the blocked double DP and puts Nago in the block string of his life. Then Danny gets him with a big fireball that would break him through the wall. Yes, supers instantly break people through walls. Danny does the classic mix 5K and... Round 2, Danny gets put in the corner, tosses 2 fireballs and then a big one, but forgot to hit the block button. It's okay, Danny gets Hotashi's burst and puts him in a long block string and staggers his dire eclat. What stagger means is when you slightly delay one of your attacks to catch your opponent mashing a button, pretty much creating a frame trap within your pressure. It's good to do this when you notice your opponent is constantly mashing to get out of a combo. However, doing this often leaves you at risk against moves with invulnerability, aka supers and DPs, as well as backdashes. But it's good to know this since this technique is being used a lot in high level play. Danny runs up, hits him with the I'm gonna do a meaty but then grabs, then proceeds to do 4 overhead moves in a row. Nago blocks them all and even blocks the sneaky overhead dust. He definitely paid $60 to block, which pays off because then he would toss out his super which would hit, but Danny would end up hitting him with a jumping overhead to finish the round.
That was such a good attempt.
On to round 3, Danny gets hit and instantly uses burst, but then gets hit by the Beyblade. Danny then does his staple of doing 4 overhead moves in a row, but this time he does it twice. Gets a grab in there and sets up his fireball pressure. Hotashi uses yellow Roman cancels, which gets him out of the situation, but then gets hit by 2 fireballs and an overhead into dust combo. Danny does an empty jump to bait out Hotashi's burst, but he doesn't burst until he gets hit again, so sucks to suck, I guess. But unfortunately, Scum Dipper exists, and Danny closes out the game. In between the game, Hotashi would end up switching characters, hoping to maybe have a better outcome and maybe mix Danny up a little bit. However, Danny only needs 1 more win, so he should be able to win this no problem.
Yes, like this is the perfect position now. With tension, no burst.
Trying to throw the backdash. Bridges backdash being really fast too, so it's really hard to see. Good setup, base the wire scene. Looking like a 2-2 right here.
Bait that, right?
Yeah. Very
Oh
clean
my.
from Hotashi. And again, like
Oh no. Danny just got clobbered by a yo-yo and now is down to the last game. However, Danny does something that would install fear into his opponent. He changes his color. Now this may seem like nothing, but I assure you it is the biggest power boost in this game.
Of course.
Okay, the color boost change takes 1 round to kick in, so now he will try. They both hit each other, then Danny hits her with a Fuda Arc, big counter, puts her back in shock state, Fuda Arc into Shimmy Grab. Shimmying is moving back and forth slowly, mainly used when the opponent is knocked down to bait out grabs or DPs, as it's scary when someone is hovering over your defenseless bodies, so remember to shimmy, kids. Sets up a fireball, somehow Hotashi didn't block, and now the big huge fireball comes next, and boom, just like that, we're on to round 3. Hotashi comes in hot with a yo-yo spin, but Danny gives her the people's elbow. Hotashi didn't want none of that. They both jump and their weapons kiss, then back to Block City. But damn, Danny's good at blocking. The color swap. But he has full risk. Danny uses Scum Dipper, switches sides, and will break her through the wall, doing big buku damage. Danny continues the pressure in the corner, catches Hotashi with the dust, and wins the set. Like I said in the past video, just tap the dust button and you will win games. Hotashi grabs Danny's hand with all the force in the world and gives him some good arm slaps. And Danny gives everyone the thumbs up. Danny still has 3 more players to fight in his pools. Kizzy K, a popular fighting game YouTuber, mostly known for his Guilty Gear Xrd content and being one of the only people that play Sin in Guilty Gear Strive. Nitro, a dual main, being the #1 Giovanna player and would be considered the #1 Jacko player if he played more games as her, as well as being 33 overall best in the world. And last but certainly not least, Nubenheimer, the #2 best Nago player, and like I said before, got second at the biggest fighting game tournament of last year with over 1,000 competitors.
We can flame Hotashi for saying he's something that like the general community, but you're playing Bridget and Nago around the world. So Geo versus Mike and Geo players are what's wrong. Mike is really good. If there's somebody who knows the answer to Nago, it's someone who names Nago.
Well, I would have all
Unless you only play like Yo.
Those characters have really fast moves.
Rare. Rare sighting of that. Yeah.
That's crazy. And then like off the gas cancel, you guys do insane. I thought I was like,
Oh my god, damn it.
I mean, honestly,
Yeah, surely not.
Okay.
it's not gonna be
World's easiest combo.
stuff.
Yeah.
Well,
Like,
yeah.
literally never.
Well, yeah, because
Never watched it. You
I
go, what?
feel like this game is for you.
Nice.
You like a raw or nice.
Alright, so far it's looking like the Game 5 timeline.
Yeah.
No!
Look, mom, with that.
Look at combo.
RTP is 4 frames too, right?
It's 5.
Or 5?
But still 5.
Yeah, I mean, you still
Oh, no. That is such
Ride
a
the
painful
light.
hit. That is Oh, no.
that combo is actually so cool.
Wait, what? Murder. Okay.
Yeah, you tried to
Murder, Danny. Just like that, bro. Yeah, I get pissed off with you.
I would too. It's like, why are you doing this?
I'm just like, wow, man.
Oh, the
Oh my god.
Heart rates are up. Some players slow down. I'm on with this. No, That's just because I've also
Oh
seen
no,
like
it's over.
Oh, yeah?
Isn't it done?
Oh my
Oh,
god.
yes.
What? You jump through points?
No. Oh.
You gotta stop backdashing or backdashing against Titan. Oh my god, hits the anyway.
Oh my god, it countered.
There's a chance. There's one still teching.
Oh, that's full
Yeah. Oh wait.
Yeah.
Oh, the
Super, yes.
chip. Good chip.
Another close set, but Danny clutches it out. And Danny is 3-0 right now, guaranteed to make it into top 8 at this point. But he could be seated slightly higher, giving him the potential to have a slight edge on the competition.
Danny actually showed his Thunder Bird.
Yeah.
He showed the replay. Oh, that's actually death.
We have tension, so.
Wall assault?
Yeah, so. Well, Gary, it's over, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Oh,
Sage
wow.
is so scary. Ooh! Oh, wait. No!
No, it's not great.
Yeah, you can car super. Credit into your 5P. 5P. Oh.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a lot of damage. Oh? Oh? Wait, that's that.
Yeah.
5H? Ooh! That was good. That was really good. That's actually death.
Yes.
Wait. 6H? It's a 6H.
Yeah.
You know? Ooh, that was so good. That was so good. Oh, wait, you're gonna go all in. Okay.
Yeah.
It's actually good to go on.
Yeah.
Mainly because
Very good.
you get one.
Yeah. The thing about Mascot Nago is post blood rate is yep. Close. Ooh, very good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh. Oh, I think that's death. Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
Oh no.
That's
a lot of damage. Yeah. Very good. All in. You're dead. Wait. Very good. Very good.
Oh my god.
Dire.
For Danny.
Oh, dead.
my god.
100%.
I think this is it.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, just press
Oh
just
my
S8.
And Danny does it. He wins all 4 games in pools and will take the top seed for top 8. Not only that he was the only undefeated player in pools, no one in Group 2 won all of their matches. So far, it's looking like Danny can hold his own offline. He had a couple of close sets, but overall, Danny is holding up to his expectations. However, he still hasn't fought against all the champions of major tournaments from last year. But in a strange turn of events, he wouldn't be fighting one of them. Peppery Splash ended up getting knocked out of pools on the Group 2 side, losing all of his matches. Perhaps the true bracket demons were lurking in Group 2, and the real scary thing is Danny's first top 8 opponent would be the one that 3-0'd Peppery Splash. Umisho, who won EVO in 2022 and recently got first at the second biggest tournament, Varsity Faustings. She's currently the #1 player online. However, from their last played online set, Danny had beat Umisho 3-2. Let's see if he can hold up in person. Danny stabs Umi and throws a fireball. And it probably doesn't feel good that she got slapped in the face with a sword and then gets hit by Stun Dipper. Danny keeps pressure and then puts them into shock state, but nothing comes of it. Umi jumps in and grabs and cracks his skull. Umi looks like she was going for a cross-up, but nope, lands right in front of him, landing a decent combo and baits out the DP to get a big counter. Danny bursts out of there, misspacing his Fudra arc, and will get hurt pretty bad from this. Umi just keeps going, but lives with 1 HP in a dream. He wakes up, blue Roman cancels, and dashes back, catches Umi off guard, but inputs stun dipper a little too slow. Could have Roman canceled it to be safe, but ends up dying. Round 2 starts, Umi jumps over Danny, but Danny lands a close slash, runs up, keeps the pressure, but goes for the risky close slash after landing Fudra arc, which will cost him half his health, and then he gets bullied against the wall, and Umi gets a hard knockdown, which is never a good sign. Umi doesn't do anything with it though, and this is quite possibly the best thing that happens in this tournament. Danny runs under Umi, big close slash that will lead into a big combo that puts Umi up against the wall, and here it is. Dragon install. This is pretty much the equivalent of going Super Saiyan in this game, and the only way to get Kai to match Potemkin in terms of being a cool character. Kinda. You just have to be at 25% health and use 50% of your attention, and boom, you get Dragon install. Basically, all of Kai's specials are buffed, similar to if your opponent constantly had Shock State on them, and they also do more chip damage and more damage just in general. So he has safer moves and bigger damage, which usually brings a lot of hype in tournament settings as it is somewhat risky to use and your mileage may vary. The main disadvantage of this is that you use 50% of your attention, which could be used to deal a lot more damage and or save you from being bullied in the corner by your opponent. As a big running joke in the community, people say Dragon install into death because generally what happens when someone uses this, they end up losing. But I say you're a scared little weakling if you don't try to go for Dragon install every chance you can. Fight me, I dare you. Danny does the Danny and runs up 5k, and it's a 50-50. This is pretty much the Danny special. He does this 9 times out of 10 because it works so well. After a hard knockdown screen transition, you can run up and get a 5k meaty and be safe from reversals. Meaning if they try to wake up and hit a button, they get hit. And if they try to DP or super reversal, you can block it. It's almost cheating. But since it's a character I like, it's not. In fact, it's happening right now. Umi is doing a DP and Danny blocks it. Umi DPs but realizes it gets blocked. Roman cancels to not get punished into guard break, and I don't know if you can tell, but Umi jumped and then does a blue Roman cancel, so the next attack will be an overhead. Danny blocks it but gets hit by the low, bursts out of there. Danny back on the offense. They dance around a bit. Umi uses bandit something to get out of the corner. No punish from Danny. Runs up, whiffs the grab. Roman cancels to fix his mistake. Back to neutral, and Danny is being careful about the Viper. Fudra arcs in, and Umi puts the pressure on and gets a wild throw, and that will end Danny for the first game. Game 2, Umi gets the big counter hit. Danny wants none of it. Danny tosses a fireball and Umi just runs straight into it. Years later, Umi would run up and try to gut punch and then get a grab. Umi safe jumps to keep her turn. Safe jumps are when you are safe upon landing in front of your opponent and is very important if you are ever going to jump in any fighting game. Basically what a safe jump is doing a well-timed attack from someone that's getting up from the ground. This basically makes it option select, covering 2 options. You put pressure on by doing an attack, and if they try to do a reversal or, as I mentioned before, a DP, you're safe from it. You can block when you land. Usually this means trying to hit them with an attack when you are close to the ground and are about to land. Canceling your attack animations so you can continue pressure. Or block their super or DP if they end up trying to do that. Danny uses direct clat and then gets scared and backdashes but gets caught by the left hand of Exodia. And at this point, might as well send Kai to the Shadow Realm. Umi forgot to use super though, which would have gave her the hard knockdown. Danny Fudra arcs right onto Gunflame, and Umi Roman cancels just in case Fudra arc hits, but ends up winning this exchange and winning the round. Round 2 starts, Umi puts the pressure on and catches Danny with a low, jumps in, tries to catch him again with another load. Danny pushes back on her, and she goes for a volcanic viper, which very unsafe without tension. So Danny gets a free combo, does the Danny 5K mix, and gets a grab. Sets up fireball pressure, and then tries the Fuji arc, gets punished. Umi runs up and grab, does the safe jump cross up, gets a combo, and Danny tries to burst, but gets baited, and this will kill because Soul does too much damn damage. Going on to game 3, and this does not look good for Danny. But wait, Danny goes to character select and changes his color. He's putting on the color swap buff, and would you look at that? Umi had this color from the start. Danny was at a disadvantage this whole time. Can you believe this shit? I sure can't. So now that Danny has newfound powers, we go into game 3. After a lot of neutral and a lot of blocking, Umi lands the first hit and gets a little conversion. A lot more defensive this game. Danny's sick of all this blocking and just runs up and grabs. Fireball pressure, and since it worked last time, might as well grab again. Umi bursts to not break through the wall. Danny gets shock state on Umi to do a safe Fuji arc. They both trade hits. Does another Fuji arc this time, not in shock state, so he Roman cancels to make it safe. Gets nothing except a big fist in his face. Umi gets a small combo but sets up for Bandit Big Punch, and Danny just forgets that block was a button and will have to use burst. Danny runs in, hits him with 5P, converts it into a full wall break combo. It won't kill, but he does get a hard knockdown and shock state. Umi uses blue Roman cancel, slows down Kai, and gives Umi advantage. After 3 close slashes, Umi tries to grab, but Danny jumps it and cuts Soul's head off. Wow. Round 2, Danny stabs Soul right in the heart and shuns dippers him. Umi blocks and then shows Kai what his right hand is for, then gets him with the Flaming Sword's Wild Assault and brings him into the air for a stylish combo, and this almost makes me want to play Soul. But he has no transformation, getting a hard knockdown, but too scared to do anything. Danny gets the first hit of Stun Dipper, side switches to bring Soul to the wall, and Wild Assault to get the hard knockdown. Here comes the Danny mix, and then just tap dust to win games, break walls, get hard knockdowns. That's what life's all about. He tries to go for the Danny mix again, but instead gets to meet Exodia as Umi takes out the right hand, and everyone knows you just lose when you see Exodia. Luckily, he still has another round though. Last and final round, Danny shoots a fireball, gives Umi the People's Elbow into Lightning Sword, does a kicky flip, and puts the shock state back on Umi. Danny's sick that he paid $60 to block, so he tries to grab, but didn't run close enough. Umi goes to town, switches sides to continue the combo, to not break the wall, but flubs. So I think what Umi was trying to do here was to keep the combo going by side switching mid combo to not have Kai wall splat, which basically ends the combo. Now it's Danny's turn to ruin Umi's life and will get the wall break into Wild Assault. Does the Danny special, gets Umi into shock state. Umi uses Gunflame and a Roman cancel to take her turn back, puts on the pressure, and this is interesting. She uses Wild Assault into feint, into Wild Throw. Big brain shit right here. Puts Danny against the wall, gets him with a low, and Danny wakes up, super cancels, knowing Umi is ready for this, blocks the DP, and gets a huge counter, too heavy, allowing Danny to get a big fireball out, tries to Wild Assault to bring Soul to the corner, and then does it again to carry him even further. And you would think this would break him through the wall with a 19-hit combo, but nope. Umi uses blue Roman cancel, and Danny does perhaps the worst DP ever, but sometimes that's how you trick the best players, is by doing the thing that would be considered bad, and we take those. Game 4 starts, and Soul somehow hits Kai with this move, so can confirm Umi is using a Game Shark. So now Danny's gonna have to play around cheats. Danny gets a grab, opts to not fireball, and decides to kick a man while he's up, gets the shock stake back on, and decides to grab this time, and this time does the fireball setup. Here comes the big kick. It looks like it's hella minus, but secretly it's plus, but doesn't matter. Umi shoves the boot in his mouth and tries to switch sides, but misses. Danny DPs and does the side switch that Umisho wanted and tries to bait the burst. Umi didn't and now hits him low, puts Danny back in the corner again. Danny DPs yet again, even though it's unsafe. Umi's like, you know what? I have a DP too, and does it right back to Danny. This is looking like floor 7 right now. Umi hits him with the gun flame and Bandit Bringer cancels it to trick Danny that it's going to be an overhead and actually just lands and hits him low. Danny tries to scum dipper, but I think cancels it to try to grab after the backdash, but fails. Umi puts Danny back into the corner and lands a hit, and you might as well say goodbye to your health bar because look at this. Damn. Round 2 and potentially Danny's last round, and Umi lands a hit, uses Wild Assault to carry Kai across the stage, keeping Danny in the corner to keep advantage. Danny tries to get a hit in, but DP wins everything, keeping Danny on the invisible ropes, gets him with a grab, and then safe jumps to another grab, does a jump in heavy into Bandit Bringer for a double overhead, but Roman cancels up to get a triple overhead. Holy shit. So this is pretty awesome stuff coming from Umi. As you can see, Danny was ready to block low as soon as Soul landed. Since most people try to hit low as soon as they land, it's pretty much the standard in fighting. But Umi wasn't done being in the air, so she used Bandit Bringer or whatever, which would be an overhead, so Danny blocks high again, realizing this. However, the move looks like it's so low to the ground that Umi would land on the ground, but she fast Roman cancels upwards, tricks Danny with a third overhead, making it insanely hard to react to or predict. Danny wants none of that, puts Shock State on Umi to try to get in with Fudra Arc, and Umi snipes his feet, and this will definitely kill. Umisho closes it out and gets a 3-1 over Danny. Unfortunately for Danny, he couldn't pull through. He was up against a previous EVO champion, so they were a worthy challenge, but he can still make a loser's run. His next match would be a rematch from his pools, Nitro, who lost against quite possibly the most dominant player here, TempestNYC. But can Danny win again?
Oh, yeah, so, I don't know. I feel like we're aggressive this time. Let's see what we can do. Let's go back. Hold it again. Only that right about lighting. For Nitro. Only with a snow reaper and that will tell me. The burst? Okay. He has those two. Yep. Take her there. Spread right. No more. Oh. Tough situation. I promise you.
That was really good. Doesn't get the wall break though. This is going to be a lot of damage. Also, you got checked out as well, so you really got to kind of blow this head. You got, that was really good.
Don't tell me.
Oh, I probably would have burst it.
The plastic conversion.
Oh, no.
But you got it. Oh, you didn't get that conversion. Oh, that is damage.
Got a lot of damage on that too.
No. I don't know.
I like the burst.
By yourself? No. Stop right there with the ticket. No.
Still defeated, I think.
Yes. No, like lighting. Yeah.
And Danny does it again. Moves on to losers quarterfinals where he would fight one of the top 5 players, Apology Man. Probably hides his rating online, but believe me, he is the best Faust player. And much like Potemkin, he's a mid character, so he usually has the crowd on his side. However, I'm not on his side today because Danny is gonna win. But I will say Apology Man does have a nice t-shirt on.
What makes them broken? What makes them broken out? I think when I the big problem. Wow, that was really educational. Even your teammates are on my side. That's another thing.
Oh, he paid first. Oh, the trumpet. No, it's experience.
Wait, he got it? Wait, what the fuck? I thought
Dude, he can throw the fireball. Bro, he's crawling for his life.
Oh, he was stuck in the
That's like a 0.5.
Oh my god. Yes.
It's 2-2, and now we are on the final game of this match. Danny pretty much has been constantly going 3-2 against most of the players here. Can Scum Dipper save him? Apology Man hits him with the overhead that has pretty much been carrying Faust this entire set. Then goes into 2 tornadoes, gets a free item toss, and if you ain't blocking, you will get knocked down. But Danny gets in a 2K and runs up, grabs, and opts to kick a man instead of using a fireball. Taps the dust button and will cancel it to continue, but Faust bursts to not go through the wall. Faust gets the jump 2K, but it doesn't matter when Danny starts throwing his bows into Scum Dipper. Then does the classic hit a button into run up grab. Works 69% of the time. Kicks him, then tries to kick again, but Apology Man uses his super to cancel it into grab. Now, if you're familiar with my other videos, I talk about this with Potemkin's Heavenly Potemkin Buster Super and how you can cancel the startup of it to turn it into a Wake Up Invulnerability Pop Buster. This is the same exact thing here with Faust. He used his super, canceled the first few frames of it into a grab. Really good options for both Faust and Pop because they don't have DPs. Kai gets eaten per usual, Apology Man tosses him a banana, and Danny DPs out of fear. Gets countered, but the banana will heal him a little bit. Then Apology Man floats towards him, tosses out a move, but it actually doesn't come out, and he just grabs Kai's DP. Faust is going to purple RC to make it so Kai can't burst and finish the job. Honestly, deserves this round, but not gonna lie, scared that Danny won't make it. Round 2, Danny runs up and gets hit by the big hand and will get sucked up into the tornado twice. Gets the bomb on the item toss, and this is scary because it can hit both players. Danny gets the jump slash and blocks the bomb and will continue the bomb combo, but drops it. I think he could have wild assaulted. Danny ends up getting a far slash into Scum Dipper, barely getting enough tension to Roman cancel, and will break Faust through the wall with a hard knockdown. Danny runs up and doesn't do the 5K and instead does the big kick, which is something you wouldn't normally use, but probably has to do with conditioning. Danny ends up doing close slash into tap dust, but doesn't get enough tension to do the Roman cancel. Faust gets his famous jump 2K in and will convert it into a small combo and throw a jelly donut. Catches Danny's backdash, gets another combo off, and switches sides, and then this happens. Faust has a small chance to throw meteors, and it is by far the best item to toss for him because he can get a big mix-up since he can teleport to the other side of the character. Meaning the player has to block in the other direction, and it's really hard to determine what side to block from because they could potentially not swap sides. But in this instance, he swaps sides and Danny gets hit. Now, Danny did not have much health left, but he also has burst, so most likely he's going to burst this situation. Apology Man Roman cancels out of the teleport, and at this point, he pretty much has the game. He just has to block the burst.
Oh, come the fuck on! Dude, nothing broken!
Apology Man pretty much had this game secured, but now Danny has a second chance. Danny Foudra arcs and Roman cancels it to be safe and waits to grab, but Apology Man techs it. Faust tries to do what's been working this entire set. His jump 2K doesn't work, but screw it, let's try it again into Tornado. Danny tries to poke him, but Danny just runs up, grabs, didn't Roman cancel. Danny's just trying to kick the life out of him and tries to tap dust. It whiffs, he Roman cancels to continue pressure. Foudra arc into another Roman cancel. Danny tries to shimmy and bait out a grab. Apology Man doesn't fall for it, but gets hit by the unsafe dust to end it. Now, if Apology Man were to block that dust, Danny would have lost because he didn't have enough meter to cancel, and it's minus, so he was putting it all on the line. And holy shit, there's another round left? Yep, and that's a perfect. Like I said, Danny was going to win, but not gonna lie, I was freaking out watching this live. But our boy Danny moves on to losers semi-final. However, it's probably the hardest match that he will fight because now he's up against the top dog, TempestNYC. Now you're probably thinking, who brought him down to losers? The very same person that beat Danny, Umisho, who 3-2'd him. Let's see if Danny can pull it off. Round 1 starts, Danny is just chucking fireballs left and right. Tempest tries to contest with his big fireball, but it isn't strong, and Danny just runs up, grabs, kicks a man while he's down. Why do I keep using that joke? Nothing happens for 10 minutes except Danny gets a big counter hit into low stun dipper. Roman cancels, but Tempest bursts. Danny tries to Sun Dipper, gets blocked, and because it's not safe, he will get punished, and does a pretty sweet combo here and breaks Danny through the wall. Tempest would end up landing his drop kick, and it's sad for me to say this, I just realized that this was Leo's 2D. That's his sweep. This doesn't look like a sweep at all. And it goes over low attacks. That's it, I hate this character. But anyways, Danny bursts, runs up and does his far slash into heavy and staggers his dire to clat and gets called out by Tempest DP. And you think he will kill here, but he doesn't. Danny Yellow Roman cancels and runs up and backdashes to bait out a grab and is successful. Roman cancels and Danny takes first round. Round 2 starts, Danny hits him with a double close slash. Getting hit by a close slash from Kai is pretty much a guaranteed wall break from almost anywhere on stage. Tempest saves his burst and will accept going through the wall, taking 50% of his health. Tempest 6Ps and side switches, then plays neutral for half a second and catches Danny hitting a button and will break the wall with a hard knockdown. Leo screaming like a 2-year-old. Danny wakes up to a meaty fist, smashes the burst button, charges a fireball, runs up, gets hit by a low, and Tempest has full resources, will break him through the wall again, saves his tension. Danny hits with a fireball and runs up, far slashes, scum dippers, RCs, pushes him into the corner, charges a fireball to keep his turn going, catches him with a close slash and Roman cancels and baits out the burst, and Danny takes the first game. Game 2 starts, they both kind of hit the same button, cute, but Danny ends up in the corner, hucking fireballs. Tempest would end up hitting him with a jump heavy. Danny hits the burst button even though he could have just blocked the second hit. Now we have Dragon Ball Z Power Struggle. What projectile will win? If you guess Kai, you're wrong. But Danny shoots another fireball to equalize it. But geez, Louise gets hit by the big counter. Tempest keeping pressure and hits him with a frame trap, and this will almost kill, but not quite. But it ain't looking good. And Leo will just run up, smash his skull with his skull. Round 2 starts, Danny runs up, taps the jewels, and sweeps the legs. Now it's time to wake up to a fireball. Now this right here is pretty neat. He jumps in, whiffs the jump slash, so then when he lands, he can just hit the grab button. Now, I know it doesn't look that cool, but I'm telling you, it is. Now let's just say he tossed out this jump slash and he blocked it, and then you try to grab as soon as you land. You will whiff because of the pushback from the blocked opponent will make it so your grab does not reach. So basically, he purposely whiffed the jump slash. Tempest probably tried to block, but when it whiffed, he wasn't ready for the quick grab when he landed. Tempest gets put in the corner. Just kidding, he DPs out of the corner. Just kidding again, Danny double trips him and puts him back in the corner with Scum Dipper into fast Roman cancel close slash, and then decides to put the shock state on him. Danny pokes him, charges a full fireball, and Tempest jumps over it, and then he Foudre arcs in and tries to tap dust, but Tempest hits him with a 6P to side switch RC to keep the combo going and will break the wall, and Danny will lose 40% of his health. But Danny goes for the raw Foudre arc and goes over Leo and just gets grabbed. Now this next part is wild. Tempest crosses over to the other side trying to trip up Danny, but then does it again, making Danny whip his DP. This man is wild. But Danny had burst, so he's okay. Danny runs up, tries to poke Leo through his fireball like he did before, but gets hit. Purple RC to continue the combo from the projectile, uses Wild Assault to bring him closer to the wall, has enough tension to do another Roman cancel, and will wall splat him, and the wall break damage will finish off the little health he has left. Tempest, with a stellar performance, takes game 2. Game 3, Danny stabs Tempest through his projectile into Slum Dipper. Tempest DPs out of the corner. They dance for a bit until Danny decides to take another stab at Tempest and Shun Dippers him back into the corner. Runs up, close slash into whiff grab, Roman cancels, runs backwards, and catches Leo's landing lag. Landing lag is when you do an action in the air, an attack, double jump, dash, whatever, and upon landing, you have a few frames of landing lag, leaving you vulnerable to attacks. So since Tempest double jumped, he ended up in this state. Now, if you just jump and do nothing, you don't get any landing lag, which is why some people do empty jumps into grabs. Tempest bursts and jumps over fireballs, hits Danny with a jump heavy. Now Danny bursts and throws a big fireball, hits him with a stinky leg, decides to not keep the pressure though. A clash happens and Tempest crosses up, and Danny DPs out of there. Goes in for a low, gets hit with a close slash, and Tempest has nothing to stop the pain train, and Danny will take round 1. Round 2, and Danny goes for a sweep and gets a huge counter, and crazy enough, this will be able to take Tempest to the corner and wall break with no Roman cancels or wild assaults. I wish Pot could do this. Danny tosses a big fireball, catches Tempest jumping over it, drops the combo, using Roman cancel a little too fast. He has corner pressure now though, but not for long. Tempest hits him with a low and brings him to mid stage with DP, side switches, and then Danny DPs and combos him into the corner. Tosses big fireball, does the whiff jump slash to grab, but Tempest was ready for it, but not ready for the sword in the chest. Bursts out of there, hits Danny with a drop kick, big counter, but doesn't have enough resources to break him through the wall. Tempest tries to hit him with the overhead, and it gets blocked, and it's hella minus, so Danny just scum dippers to punish and will finish the game. Game 4 starts, Tempest hits Danny with a DP, and Danny says, "Right back at ya." They play honest neutral for half a second until Danny drops the people's elbows into Scum Dipper. RC pushes him, and Tempest bursts out of there. Tempest jumps in with his 2 swords. Jeez, look how dumb this character looks. I can't get over it. He starts a combo going, but Danny bursts. After a couple fireball, Danny gives Tempest the bow and backdashes, making Tempest whiff his DP, and he's going to be able to combo that into a charge fireball into close slash, and will take Tempest to the corner without any resources and break the wall. Danny runs up, tries to strike throw, whiffs, Roman cancels to close slash into backdash to bait out Tempest again, and he will take the bait, and Danny closes out this round. Round 2, Danny whiffs his 2K, so Tempest will hit him with 2K, get a baby combo and side switch, and Tempest just grabs him on wake up, will switch sides again, hits him with the overhead, will combo him into the corner, catches Danny with a low and puts Danny on the wall and uses a super to get a hard knockdown. Tempest shimmies, does bait out the grab, but Danny cancels it into close slash and backdashes to bait the DP, but Tempest ain't falling for it this time, and Tempest throws fireballs of his own and will end up taking the round. Round 3, Danny tosses a fireball but gets hit by Leo's jump heavy. Tempest drops a combo and blocks the burst. Tempest puts Danny on the pain train as he has no burst and will break him through the wall, taking half his health and wild assault to get the hard knockdown. Tempest lays on the pressure as Danny has no way out besides a risky DP, and he gets caught by a low and will lead to another full combo, and oh god, uses super this time to get a hard knockdown. Danny wakes up, backdashes Stun Dipper into RC, grabs Tempest out of the DP. Big fireball comes out. Tempest yellow Roman cancels to stop Danny's momentum and will just grab him. And now we will be going into Game 5, the final game of the set. Game 5, and Danny decides to stab Tempest through the fireball yet again, and it's a fireball war that lasts 3 months. Tempest would end the war with his big toe, and I can't believe he actually breaks the wall from here. but the damage scaling is so low since he started the combo with a light attack. Tempest gets a counter hit sweep, and Danny is mashing the burst button to get out of this. Goes back in and gets hit by an overhead. And geez, Leo is halfway across the screen, bouncing him off the wall. What is this? Opts to save Wild Assault. Danny charges Fireball. Tempest just jumps over it, blue RCs, but Danny already swinging his elbow, and Tempest gets carried to the corner, but sneaks in a low and will end the round. After a couple Fireball exchanges, Tempest would jump one of them, and what? Look at this shit. The swords ain't even touching him. Anyways, that hits and he dashes up to continue the combo, and obviously it's going to break Danny through the wall, taking a good 40% of his health. Danny would get him back though, tossing his famous elbow into shock state. Runs up, kicks a man, charges a Fireball. Nothing happens except Leo gets a hit by puffing his chest out to show his masculinity. Danny bursts this shit, runs up, tries to hit him with a double close slash. Tempest jabs out of it, DPs, and Roman cancels to keep it going and will get Danny on the wall, but opts to save his meter just in case. Runs up, lands a low, and that's pretty much it. It will kill. The tragedy is real, though Danny did put up a good fight. Also interesting about this tournament, during the Group 2 pools, Umisho lost 3 of her 4 matches, barely making it out of pools, but then ends up taking the whole tournament during top 8. It really makes you think if the days were swapped that maybe Danny could have gone all the way. But as we say in fighting game community, when someone has an off day, we take those. Congrats for Danny for showing up, demonstrating peak performance of Kai. Hope to see him in more in-person tournaments. I may be a pot main, but sometimes I like to install.